Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Mainhart, and I am the Outreach Coordinator here at the Alpha Center for Divorce Mediation. Today, we're going to start a three-part series on fueling the divorce fire. Two of those things are infidelity and dating. And today, my guest is Keila Gilbert, who is the founder of the Alpha Center. And after 26 some years of experience, she has probably seen a lot of this and has dealt with a lot of it in trying to guide the couples through this without losing their sanity. So thank you, Keila, for joining me today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how all of this gets started, this infidelity, and what happens when it hits the divorce process?
Yes, yes. And it's a very hot topic. And, they don't teach us about this in law school or in our continuing education classes, but we do learn it as we're dealing with clients, as we're guiding them through divorce. And always the emotional challenges are the worst. The most difficult for them to deal with, the fear, the anxiety, the anger, the disappointment, and the grief. I know you have a series on the grief of divorce that you've been doing.
Right, and I would think that it really hampers a person's ability to think.
Yeah, it does. We're not at our best.
No.
And sadly, we're making our most important decisions when we're not at our best. And so over the years, I've found that it's always difficult emotionally. However, when there's an affair that has been a part of ending the marriage, it seems like the flames of the emotions burn much hotter and more harmfully than when there hasn't been an affair.
Wow.
And and I don't want to come across as being judgmental about the person having the affair or the person responding to the affair, because truthfully, nobody knows what goes on in a marriage, what's missing, what problems there are, and it's best not to be judgmental. It's best to be helpful and compassionate about where they are at this point in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and how does that play out whenever you're doing the mediation? Like, what do you? I mean, there's probably a lot of that comes in and expectations.
And it's always there's always a lot of anxiety about money issues, financial issues, because you're dividing a household, and people want to know, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be secure? And so that's just a normal part of going through the divorce experience. But you add an affair on top of it, and it's a whole nother layer of emotions that causes people, if you were the one that was cheated upon, the inclination is to want to punish that person for what they've done, using the legal system and using finances as sort of the bludgeoning tool to punish that person. Yeah, that's very normal. You cheated on me. You don't deserve any money. You don't deserve any security. That sort of thing.
And what about the guilty party, so to speak?
The
How do they
guilty party.
react?
Yeah. Well, there's always variations. People always respond a little bit differently, but in general, they do feel that guilt. They do feel that shame. And oftentimes they end up giving up things, just saying, just let me out, let me walk away. I don't need a roof over my head. I don't need a car to drive. I just need out of this painful situation, which is understandable. However, the problem comes, I always say that guilt has a short shelf life. And once they start living the reality of everything they've given up, then there's a tendency to want to go back and rehash things, relitigate things.
Right.
And yeah, it just by the way, under law, there is very little reference to infidelity or
Mhm.
affairs. They're kind of blind to it to a large degree. So when people are in mediation or in the courts trying to assert these positions that this person should be punished and should walk away with nothing,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. They can spend thousands of dollars hiring private detectives. They can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars hiring tough litigators. But at the end of the day, there's very little reference to it under law.
Mhm.
In the volumes and volumes of case law and statutes, there's one small reference, and it's one of 14 factors that's included in the alimony provision, and
Mm.
that it's very low on the list, and it says it may be a bar to receiving alimony. And
Yeah.
so that's just that small reference, yet you see people spending so much time and energy and money trying to punish and right that wrong, and it's unfortunately kind of misdirected and a waste of resources.
Yeah. They
Puts
they
them
just
back. Yeah,
they just want it to be fair in their favor.
yeah. And it's hard because it hurts.
Yeah.
It's a violation. It hurts. Everybody's hurting,
Mhm.
but it's largely an emotional issue. It's not a legal issue. And when you bring it into dealing with your legal issues, you can find high-priced attorneys that will fuel that fire and fight that fight. But at the end of the day, you end up with less money, less stability, and a lot more difficulty in the future, especially if there are children.
Ah. Mhm. How does that play in this affair and
Yeah.
the children and the divorce and
Well, the wounded party has a real hard time not sharing their disappointment with the children,
Mhm.
explaining that this is why our happy family broke up because your mother or your father did this, and never mind that perhaps it wasn't happy to begin with, and there wouldn't have been
Mhm.
that kind of transgression, but it is fed to the children as a negative, um, a negative. I'm just going to say a black cloud,
Mhm.
actually, that
Mhm.
hangs over their relationship with that other parent, the parent who
Mhm.
had the affair, and so then you get into parent alienation, where that child is kind of taught to disparage that parent, and it interferes with their relationship, so they are deprived of the father-son relationship or the mother-daughter relationship, or whatever it is. It impacts the child. And therapists, there have been many books written about parent alienation. It has long-term psychological effects on children,
Yes.
far into their adulthood.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So what the bottom line is that an affair just can blow up your marriage.
Yeah, so if you can avoid it, it's better to do so. And I know in the next two parts of this series, we're going to talk about dating while you're going through divorce, and then dating and finding a new partner after divorce, which are also uh, big challenges where people turn to the law for some kind of remedy when there is no remedy. And the best thing they can do when you're suffering with these kind of vengeful, hurt feelings is go to a good therapist. That's their role, to help people through that. Our role as attorneys is to try to guide them to understand the law, dismantle their past joint lives and create two separate lives. And the affair doesn't or shouldn't have a large influence on that, although it very much cuts to the heart of the people that are involved in it.
Yeah.
And that's why it belongs in therapy.
Right. Well, thank you very much for today's session, and we look forward to the next two.